Hi everybody, and welcome to another tutorial. And I'm going to draw a bridge, this magnificent arched bridge with watercolor pencils. But before I did that, I first made a quick sketch on the cheap Ami newsprint paper, so that I know what my composition will be, where the darkest areas will be, of course. And well, that's the way that I work. I always draw a little sketch in front, and then I can grab my watercolor pencils. I'm going to draw with those of Van Gogh, which is a study quality, and also the Derwent Inktense, which is an artist quality. I'm going to combine them, and as you can see them here, I have some, it's paper band, if you want, tape, paper tape, and I put that on the inside of the lid so I can demonstrate for you later on how I pick up the pigments. And I'm going to draw / paint on the Arches watercolor paper, which is 300 grams per square meter, so that's of heavy quality, and I love the Arches paper. So let's get started. I've picked out the Van Gogh brown pencil. It's just a starter kit, but I really wanted to show you how nice it is to combine the study quality with the Inktense of Derwent. And well, what I see first is, of course, that diagonal line and the beautiful arch. And it's the arch that I find so interesting, combined with the water reflection. So together they make well, a little bit of an egg-like shape, and I love it. And also I chose the bridge because the watercolor pencils, of course, are some kind of a bridge in between drawing and painting. So it's nice to proceed if you want to start painting. You can see it here. You can still erase it if you make a little mistake. And so you do not have to be afraid to start painting right along. You can just start drawing, and then later on we are going to see what happens when we put in the water. Now here on the river bench there are lovely rock formations, of course, so I draw those in. And for the whole setup I'm simply using that brown watercolor pencil by Van Gogh. And well, it's a rugged area. There are natural stones, and the bridge itself, of course, is completely built up with those nice stones. So I make scribbly lines, and I also here put in the reflection already that will be in the water. And here you can see it too. So in the left corner you can see the reference picture that I'm using. I draw in the little brick in front, but I'm not drawing in the bigger rock formation that is into the water. I will leave that out, that part. So well, as we are artists, we can put in extras or leave things out if we want to. You can also see the ruggedness of the texture of the paper, and that's ideal for my stone area, of course. On my Patreon page you can see the whole thing in real time. There are over 100 real-time tutorials there, so if you want you can always check out my Patreon page too, of course. Now here I'm putting in the light blue simply over the reflection in the water. So now I already know what the water area will be. And And this arch you can just see the sky go through. But for the sky I will demonstrate something else later on. I first pick out my green Van Gogh pencil, and I'm not drawing in any plants or something. I'm just putting in those areas that are going to be green by simply placing the pigments into the paper, so I can work them later on with the water. Now this is my demonstration for the sky. And what I do is I pick up some pigments, light blue, dark blue, and indigo blue, and I put it on the tape that is inside the lid of my box. And then I can simply pick up those pigments with the brush, because in the sky itself I do not want that texture that I need for the bridge and the natural stones. I do not want that in the sky area. So what I do is I first wet the whole sky. I simply put in a bunch of water into the paper, and then and only then I pick up the pigments from the lid of my pencil box, as you can see here. And then I put those pigments into the area that is wetted with the water. I put in a second layer here, because the sky on the left is a little bit more blue than the right side, because the right side is farther away from us. But I also want to create a little bit of clouds in the sky. So I take a paper towel, and I simply pick up a little bit of those pigments, and once the paper dries, as you can see here, then I have some amazing clouds in the sky. So that's a nice tip for you too, of course. And then it's time to start to work the whole area with water. Now it's just lovely, and you can see it here. It's just lovely how the pigments are picked up by the water and by the brush, and how you can just drag them over the paper. And should you go too dark, or you think it's too dark or something, then just pick up some of those pigments with the paper towel, and well, just start blending. And it's it's very user friendly if you want. And as you can see, the brown is really, really brown as you touch it with the water. Now I think this is too much brown for my feeling. So I pick up a little bit of those pigments and then I simply place over a little bit of blue. And by doing that, I am creating a lovely shadow color. So the brown combined with the blue is just excellent. It's beautiful. And I apply it in the water area too. And here for the far distance, there are some Rocky Mountains, I was saying. There are some mountains there in the far distance. And what you can also do is just pick up a pencil like this, and then directly pick up the pigments from that pencil. So I want those mountains to be a little bit more purple, and then I can just ease them down with the paper towel. So now the mountains in the back seems to appear very, very far away, while in the front area I can use a little bit more color. So this is creating an atmospheric effect, and and you can see how bright the colors are. They are so lovely. And here I'm also drawing in the stones that are in the front. Those are closest to the viewer. And well, by drawing those big boulders in, I also create the feeling of perspective and things that are close to us in comparison with the mountains way in the back. Now this is the side of the bridge in the water that was should be a little bit darker. And you can see now the arch is popping out really, really nice. And you can slowly see the pigments going into the paper. So that's very lovely. And well, you put in layers over layers, and in that way you can easily push the contrast up if you want. And you can also put in a little bit of vegetation, for instance. I'm using the rigger, that's a pencil with long hairs, and I simply draw in some grasses that are in front of us. So in this way I'm also creating a lot of depth and the 3D perspective. So that's so lovely to do. This is just amazing. And when you should travel, you go abroad on your holidays, you can simply put a box of watercolor pencils in the luggage and some brushes, and you can just start well, painting en plein air if you want. They do not take much place. And you can just go ahead, sit down at the river and start drawing / painting, because drawing or painting with the watercolor pencils is like a bridge from drawing towards painting. So it's very user friendly and the effects are amazing. And well, here at the end I'm putting in some blue, extra blue from the inktense, and I've picked it up from the lid of my pencil box, and then this drawing is finished for as I wanted to show you on how easy it is to work with those watercolor pencils and how amazing their pigments are. And well, this is something you should just try. So if you are considering buying watercolor pencils, please do. You will enjoy them, and maybe you will draw along with this amazing bridge. Maybe on my Patreon page or just on the YouTube, whatever. I don't care as long as you are drawing. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.